Hey, welcome back, everyone, to Nourish My Soul's Mindful Mondays. So, this week I wanted to address some of the feedback that I've been hearing a lot from people in our community about feelings of helplessness. And this comes from just a state of complete overwhelm with all the things that are going on, and rightfully so. Being completely isolated in the midst of a global pandemic, not being able to carry on with life the way that we're used to, missing people, loved ones, in the regular way of life, compounded by natural disasters and watching suffering happening and political strife and wedges drawn between families. There's a lot going on right now, and it's easy to fall into feelings of helplessness and overwhelm. So I wanted to provide you with some tools for when this happens, and we could all use this, and it's a good reminder for those of us, even if we're not feeling helpless in the moment. It's a good reminder about how we need to set our minds and what we need to focus on. So that really is the crux of it, is changing your mindset and your perspective. So by ruminating and going over and over what you cannot control, what the things that are not in our control, and there are things that are completely out of our control, and that's going to be forever the way life is. You have to roll with it. There are things that we are never going to be able to control. And when we focus on what is out of our control, that grows. It continues to grow and completely overwhelm us, and we feel absolutely out of control in every area of our life because that's what we're focused on. Kind of like that phenomenon that people talk about when they buy a new car and then all of a sudden they see that car everywhere. It was there all along, but you just weren't focused on it. So it's the same with, focusing on the things that are out of our control. Instead of that, flip that switch to the things that you do have control over, even if it's simple, basic things right now, right? Like if you can only see the things that are in your control, that are things like, I can drink more water. I have control over brushing my teeth, when I'm going to brush my teeth, when I'm going to go to bed, how much rest I'm going to get. What I'm going to eat in my meals. Those things you have control over. So focus on that first, and then that too will grow. You will find that there's more that you have control over as you focus on that. Okay? So that's the first step. And then the next thing is to remember that our brains have this way of exaggerating truths and convincing us of complete untruths, right? So how many times have you thought in your head, things are never going to get better, something along those lines? And that negative thought pattern that our brains feed us, they're complete lies. And if you need proof of that, all you have to do is go back and examine your own personal history. How many times in the past have you overcome immense challenges that seemed so overwhelming at the time you didn't know how you'd get through it? Or even looking back, you think, how did I do that? Right? We have a track record. We have things that we can look back on and say, wow, I am capable of doing this, and things will change. How many times have you had great things happening in your life only to have something negative turn your world upside down? Or the other way around, you're feeling unhappy in your life and then something happens and it turns your world upside down in a positive way and things are going great. Life has a way of doing that. It never stays stagnant. Things always change. It is ever changing. That we can count on. So your brain telling you that things are never going to get better is an absolute lie. And you have the proof to go back and see. And then identifying your strengths is a power move. So understanding what it is that you are good at and focus your energy in that area. Instead of trying to focus on the things that are not your strengths and trying to build on those, if you're feeling helpless, identifying where your strengths are and capitalizing on that and utilizing that to empower you to make the changes that are necessary, that is where you're going to find success. Then you can later on, focus on other things that maybe you need to do some skill building. But when you're feeling helpless, it is important to use those strengths that you already have and unleash those to overcome those feelings. And then the last point that I wanted to make is focus on the present. So this is Mindful Monday, and all of our episodes really come back to this, is focusing on the present moment, because focusing on the future produces anxiety. And focusing on the past produces depression and sadness. So I think when we focus on right now, not only will we feel less helpless, but we're present in that moment. There are things that we can do in this moment right now that are going to improve our situation and those that are around us. So there is always something that you can do, instead of thinking about all of the things that are completely out of our control. So I hope this helps you, brings you back to center, grounds you, makes you feel a little bit more in control when there's so much that feels so out of control in the world right now. And I hope this brings you peace this week. And I can't wait to talk to you guys again. So let me know how this works for you. Talk to you soon.